Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Mission for Fishing. Today's episode, we're going to give you guys a video that has been very requested on the channel, and that is a boat overview 1 year later after I have, well, basically gave this thing some more upgrades and whatnot. So today we're going to be showing you guys in depth the good, the bad, the ugly, what we did that was really successful and what we did that you probably shouldn't try to replicate. Just going to give you an overall update on how the boat's doing. So without further ado, let's get into it. I also thought it might be worthwhile to point out that you remember when I said would like a truck someday to tow this rig? Well, yeah, that happened a couple months later. But yeah, no, so this is the boat. So as you can see, a few different things have happened since I last showed you guys what was going on here. Most notably, what you guys are going to notice right off the bat is the trolling motor is now up front. I went ahead and I took it off the back and I mounted it up on the front because it was suggested in the video. What's that? Yeah, that's the plan. Shout out to you also. Anyways, so I can't remember your name, but he suggested just take the screw out of the top of the trolling motor, turn the head around and mount it up to the front. And it was so ingenious and so simple, I went ahead and I did it. And I gotta say, this has been one of the best improvements that I have made. It is way better to have your trolling motor pulling your boat versus pushing it for a number of reasons, but mainly boat control. Boat control is completely improved with this setup. Also notice one other modification that I've done, and I think this is about the only other modification that I haven't shown you guys, is I went ahead and I added some different paint to the floor. If you guys remember, this was all coming and chipping up and whatnot from gas, and so I wanted to fix that issue, and I also wanted to fix my slipping issue because when water got on this thing, it was super slick surface, and it was actually really hard to get a grip. Now the inside of this is pretty dirty, but it looks the exact same as it does out here. Yeah, it's something new that I never saw on YouTube before, but I thought, hey, I'll give it a try. I was walking through the spray paint aisle at a local hardware store, and I found some textured Rust-Oleum paint, and so I thought, that's an interesting concept. I kind of wanted to go duck hunting this fall, so I already wanted to paint the inside of the boat a bit because I wanted to use this for duck hunting. That did not happen. What did happen is a complete repaint. So I think this looks a lot better. It took a while to grow on me. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it at first, but overall I think I actually really like this. You know, you can tell it's a little dirty, but this hides dirt so much better, and it does provide a noticeable amount of grip. So how I actually did this is I sanded the previous paint just enough to where I could etch it and get a good grip for new paint to adhere. From there I added some enamel almond colored spray paint, and then I finally added this textured stuff, and it took me a couple of tries because it was really ugly when it first came out because I really didn't know what I was doing, but I finally got the hang of it. And in order to get the best result, you just have to spray that textured rattle can like crazy. It looks stupid, but that's the only way I was able to get an even coating. Otherwise it was darn near impossible because it would glob up in spots. And if I had more and it was cheaper, I'd probably do the rest of the inside of the boat, but honestly, it was looking really dirty, and all I did was I just used some Super Clean that I had left over from last year, and it worked really well. Speaking of Super Clean, they actually reached out to me after I did my winterization with their products last year, as some of you may have seen. They really liked what I was doing here on the channel, and they wanted to give back to you. So with the help of Super Clean, we're actually going to be giving away some of their products. You're going to get an original bottle of Super Clean, and you're going to get an aerosol bottle of Super Clean. All you have to do to enter to win is 1, subscribe to the channel, and 2, comment down below your favorite fall fishing technique. I've been getting out here quite a bit. So far, my favorite fall fishing technique has to be crankbaits, but if you have a good bait that you'd like to share with me, maybe share with others so that they can maybe have some success, comment it down below. This is some pretty awesome stuff. You can clean your boat, get your rig ready for winter, get your rig ready for spring. Yeah, heck, you can use it on your clothes and whatnot. So it's basically free products to help you make your boat look super nice. I'll be announcing the winners in the next video that I post, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So other than the trolling motor and other than the spray painted inside, the only other thing that you'll notice that's different with the boat is we don't have the deck in. And the main reason why I didn't add specifically the back deck is basically because it was adding weight in the wrong places. Now, because the outboard is hanging off the back of the boat, because I'm sitting in the back seat and the gas tank is back there, there's a lot of weight in the back of the boat. And basically trying to get on plane with this thing was becoming to be a bit of a hassle out of the get-go. Just that little bit, and moving the trolling motor up to the front, it's helped this hull shot on this little 12-footer incredibly. My top speed now I think is around 16 miles an hour, which is about what it was now that I'm thinking about it, but I can hit 60 miles an hour way faster. That's why I don't have it. I don't use it all that much. I don't really fish with a ton of people anymore. The most I had in this boat this summer was 4 guys. I definitely didn't want the deck in then, and honestly, when I'm out by myself, I just use the front deck, and because now I have the trolling motor up front, so I spend more time up on the front of the deck, so it just makes sense because it's dead weight. So that's kind of a long-winded answer for why I don't fish with that anymore. It's holding up all right. I just have it sitting in the corner of my garage right now. But yeah, so I suppose on to, well, the decking. This is the decking I added last year. This is a hatch that I built. And honestly, this is holding up incredibly well. I was thinking I was going to reinforce with some brackets because I was concerned about the side pushing out, like on Caleb's boat, because his kind of had that problem after a while. But this is, well, as square as I got it out of the garage. No warping or nothing. The piano hinges still work perfectly fine on this. And honestly, this is still my favorite hatch on the boat. Still the easiest to get to. I got boat lights in there right now. I'll throw my tackle trays in there when I hit the lake later in this video. The front deck of this boat, I did not do last year. The front deck of this boat, I did 2 years ago. And I did not use the same paint on the inside like I have with this. This is the same enamel paint that we used on the trailer and on the outside of the boat. And I gotta say, I think this stuff is holding up way better. My staples are also rusting out, so maybe you should look at stainless steel staples. That I did not do. I probably just had regular steel staples. So that was a mistake. And then also one other thing I noticed too while I'm thinking about it is not on here, but on the screws I used for the hinges, they're starting to oxidize under there, as you can kind of see. So make sure you use stainless steel screws and stainless steel hardware. But other than that, this deck has had a few issues. Moisture tends to accumulate under here, and I've had some mold issues and whatnot, as you can kind of see up here. I hosed it down with brake clean, and that does a great job at killing everything. So humidity is a bit of a problem in the front deck here, which in turn didn't affect anything too much at first, but after a while there's been a few cracks in the finish under here. So what that led to is that moisture can build up under the deck and can seep through those cracks into the wood, and it's actually caused this deck to slightly blow up. Now, it was much worse this summer. As you can see, there's a little circle here because I used a C-clamp to clamp it down, and it did straighten itself back out, but I would definitely recommend trying to find some good base paint before you carpet, because otherwise you're probably going to have a boat deck similar to this. And looking back, I probably should have used 3/4 of an inch, something a little bit thicker, something a little more resistant, but honestly, I'd be concerned, at least in this application, on a 12-footer with weight. So I still think 1/2 inch was the right move for the decks and whatnot, but if you're doing a bigger boat where you can, go a little heavier, I would definitely recommend going with 3/4 inch plywood. It probably wouldn't help to get some green treated stuff, or at least some marine treated stuff if you got some deeper pockets. But nonetheless, this still works, and it's still just fine. The carpet on the boat deck is holding up. It's holding up not bad. You can see it's kind of stained. I should probably get some super clean on that. The carpet is holding up all right. I can definitely tell it's starting to fall apart. I used some Ecotech stuff, and it's working right now, and it's still looking fine, and it's honestly not too bad. I haven't had too many hooks get stuck in it or whatnot. I'm probably only going to get about 6 to 7 years out of this carpet before I'd have to recarpet it, so that's something to keep in mind if you're wanting to do a rig and just make sure it's completely done. I'd probably just recommend getting actual marine grade everything. But I think that's basically all of the decking talked about. The hinges still work fine. They still fit in place just fine. Yeah, I really got no complaints. On to the next topic, and that's going to be paint. And I think this is going to be the final topic of the overview also, just because, well, I think this is the only other real thing that we did. The paint is starting to fade a little bit, just from how I let it sit out over winter, and then also using it this summer a bit. I didn't get to use it as much as I'd like to, but the paint on the boat, it's not as glossy as it was, but it still holds up great to scrapes, scratches, dings, and whatever. It's the best stuff that I've found. And I also found stuff in an aerosol can, so if you got some spots you'd like to touch up or whatnot, that's also a great alternative. However, the paint on the trailer, you can tell, I think this is because I didn't sand it super great, but we got a lot of rock chips and whatnot going on in there, and it's not the prettiest job, so it definitely is starting to show its use and abuse. If I'm going to be honest though, I think most of those rock chips, at least from what I noticed after this trailer was completely brand new, done and refreshed, are from me going way too fast on gravel, and that is my fault. It's also very dirty right now, so it doesn't look super eye appealing or whatever. But the paint on the trailer is holding up all right. Paint on the boat is holding up great and fantastic. Yeah, like I said, it's getting to be a little faded, one might say. It could just be dirty too. Whenever this gets hit with water, it always shines up. But that seems to be the case with just about any paint out there. And I've seen professionally painted boats, like my buddies and whatnot, and their boats always get this weird haze, this white coating on it. And so I think that's just part of the actual minerals in the water that just deposit and accumulate on the boat in the long run. Oh, I just noticed my ground here. That's not good. But yeah, so that's basically a rough overview of the boat so far. We're out here at the lake today, so I'm gonna give this thing a bit of a try. Also going with the theme of going over the boat. A lot of you have asked for a stability test and kind of to see kind of how stable it is. So I'm gonna turn off the stability on this camera and I'm gonna show you guys that. Just how stable is a 12-foot boat with a deck? A lot of people ask me, is it worse with stability? And I honestly have to say, I don't think so. I think your biggest problem is honestly weight. If these do affect anything, because they raise the center of gravity just a smidge, it's so nominal you can't really notice it. I mean, it's a 12-foot boat at the end of the day, so you're only going to squeeze so much stability out of it in the first place. But honestly, I don't think the decks add too much of a difference. But I don't know. We're going to show you guys right here, right now. Stay tuned, stick with it. Alrighty, folks. So we are out here in the 12-footer. You can see we're on the front of the boat right now, kind of in the center on the front bench seat. Or on the middle bench seat. That's kind of where I'm directly standing. So if I walk over here, we're still fine. In fact, I'm pretty much standing on the side of the boat. We're just fine. We're a couple inches of freeboard, but it doesn't feel like it's going to tip by any means. If I walk over here, it's the same story. So you can tell the trolling motor's up front, which makes everything way easy to just reach it and adjust it. I kind of usually end up standing right about here where the hatches begin. Other spot. You can see in the back here, it's completely fine. You can stand on the side of the boat and, you know, it dips down a bit, but it's not bad. I mean, you can even go all the way to the back of the boat, standing back here by the outboard. I mean, you're not flipping this thing by yourself at all. And honestly, the front of the boat is just fine too. So I'd say the most stable sections are definitely the back of the boat and this middle section. The deck is a little shakier when you get towards the edges, but I still feel very safe up here. You know, you can get it to rock and whatnot a decent bit, but I definitely have to have at least another person out here before I can even think about flipping this thing. God, it's cold out. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this for you guys, but oh, yep, see, I'm getting a little tippy, but I was able to get a grip with my feet. I don't think anybody's ever fallen off this boat, actually. I think every single person that I've ever taken out that's gotten off of this thing into the water has voluntarily jumped off. I don't think anybody's ever, at least under my ownership, fallen in. I know this boat was sunk 3 times before me, though, which I don't really know how that happened. That's when it was its duck boat days. Wow, this boat looks so small on camera. I mean, it's small, but God, my hands are cold. Okay, well, that's all she wrote for me. Okay, let's get out of here. How much gas you got in them bowls, huh? Winterized. Well, she's on the trailer. Thank you everybody for tuning in to another open water season here at Mission for Fishing. I sure enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll be able to get out any more this year, so right now this is going to be my close for the season. There weren't as many videos this open water season because it was incredibly hot summer and I was incredibly busy, unfortunately. This fall I was able to get out though, and I was able to fish a decent amount, I will say. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to next season. Looking forward to getting this guy out. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that bell icon. Don't forget to comment your favorite fall fishing technique down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Mission of the day was to give you guys an overview of the boat 1 year later after I finished the restoration on this thing, and I think we pretty much did that, so I'd say that would be a mission complete.